All
Scare the
right.
shit out of you, right?
So,
Pains my ears.
we are going to be talking about capital for
Capital.
episode 10.
Alrighty. Capital with a capital C.
Yeah, capital. So, you want to go ahead and elaborate?
Well, a lot of times we get the question, how much can I start? How much can I make off of this much money?
Yeah.
I've seen if I started off with $1,000, how can I make? What can I make in a month?
Yeah.
I've also seen what's a good amount to start off the accounts with when funding your account. And I mean, the common answer is, I mean, whatever you want. You know, we can't necessarily tell you what to start with because, of course, you've got your lot sizes. If you're okay with trading .01s and low lot sizes, start off with a little bit of money.
Yeah.
If you've got the capital to spend and risk, and you want to just load up and go ham, I mean, you could larger lot sizes, but you have to be able to, plan for that. You have to be able to say, okay, I can't over leverage, and understand what the over leveraging is, whether it's based on lot size or whether it's based on the amount of trades, and just start out with what you feel comfortable with. If I had a suggestion for anybody, I would say if you say I've got $500 to put in,
Yeah.
I'll say start out with 2. Don't use your full 5 because if you lose that 2, you have to be able to replace that 2, right? Mm-hmm. So you got to keep in mind one thing that you taught me a long time ago was, can you replace the money that you've put in there if you lose it?
Yeah.
So that's why you don't want to just empty out your whole bank account.
Yeah, that's true. Like, it's a very common question, especially when people want to start to learn how to trade. Because what a lot of people really don't understand is that you're gonna be compounding your account regardless. So it doesn't really matter what size that you start off with. You're gonna be placing trades. You're gonna be growing your account. You're gonna be making withdrawals. You're gonna still be compounding, and I think a lot of people forget that. Like, even if you start with like $100 or even like $50 and whatever that works for your financial situation, right? And if that works for your financial situation, that's when you have to have that risk management come into play and growing it. Like, it's not a marathon. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And where a lot of people think like, yeah, I could turn this into that, and you got to be really like tunnel focus and just staying to the concept. Like, you are gonna be growing the account, but grow it in your pace.
Right.
Because like it's becoming like a big trend. People are like, yeah, how much if I could take 1,000, and try to flip it into this certain amount. Like, I don't know. Like, like we've been trading for a while now. Like, anything could happen in the market. You could have one good trade and that could be set for a whole week. You could have a trade that you could probably lose all your funds for the whole week. So to respond to like everyone that's just like, yeah, how much I could turn this into that, is that no, you need to take that focus elsewhere and learn the proper way. Just building your account slowly. Like, I'd rather build the account slowly and get to the point where I want to for my initial goal. Everything in life that we set, if we're risking a lot, there's always has to be goals to be set off and checked off. And a lot of people just get misplaced of just where I should start or comparing to the next person, which you shouldn't, because everyone's financial situation is completely different.
Right. I think about it steps, in the sense like if you go to college.
Yeah.
If you go to college, do they give you a degree your first day of your freshman year? They don't.
It's not.
Right? So you have to go through all those hardships.
You got to go through the curriculum.
Right? Get your credits, get your degree at the very end, and you can move on.
Yeah.
But it takes, 4 years to do so. Unless you're a doctor, then 7, 8 years, whatever, right? But then even thinking in other even more layman's, like a layman term or even more metaphorical, think of a pool. When you're a baby and you're swimming,
Yeah.
you don't just jump into the 6-foot deep end, right?
Yeah. You gotta
You know, you
start.
sit there in
Baby
the,
steps.
the shallow side or the kiddie pool with your floaties on, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody sits here and actually asks us, how can I make, or like, how much can I make in 1 month off of X amount of dollars? That
Yeah.
screams to me the word inexperience,
Mm-hmm.
because you can only determine any of that.
Yeah.
You determine what you put in, you determine what you're willing to risk, what you're willing to wager, and take it from there and apply your lessons to it. If you don't know the lessons and you just want to be a signal taker, then by all means, get in, put all your money in there, and let the signals ride. But you're gonna find that you're not gonna know what you're gonna be doing.
Yeah.
You know, which is
And-
kind of what helps build the skill.
Yeah, and also to refer to that, like, I had actually, I'm gonna bring up this scenario. I think I actually had someone email me about having trade ideas hitting, certain lot sizes because either they were probably over leveraging, probably started with a small account, right? And expecting, calls to always go 100%. Which, you're going to have calls that just go in a different direction just due to market flow. So having huge expectations of, being a signal taker, and was wondering why, like, all the calls are being called when he's going to bed. Those are, like, the kind of scenarios. It's just like, okay, what brought your why into why you want to be trading, especially with a certain amount of capital. Like you're not going to learn because all the hard work is already done, and you're copying and pasting. That's great. But the expectation behind it is phenomenal from the response that I saw. It was just like, wow, like people put all of their eggs on one person's basket and expect them to be rich.
Right.
Like that following day, if that hits your take profit area, or if you're in floating profit and you didn't put a TP, you just thought that it's going to go on forever.
Right.
So, especially like honestly, in my opinion, for people that's just starting off, I highly suggest starting with like a small capital so you get a good feel. If you don't want to use a demo account, that's cool. If you want to dive into it, start with a small amount, and then have a good comfortable build it from there. And then when you feel like you're very confident, then put a big balance.
Right.
It's gonna change your emotion and how you view the market, and using proper lot sizes. If you're using good risk management, but that's what it comes down to. So,
Agreed. I think one of the biggest aspects people don't really necessarily understand, and it took me a little bit. I took my losses, my L's, but they, as always, they're lessons. I think the biggest thing that people overlook is margin.
yeah,
They don't understand what margin is. They think it's just a number out there. But guess what? You could be taken out of trades from your broker saying, "Ooh, no, you're
Yeah.
risking too much."
yeah,
And you could miss it by 5 pips, and then all of a sudden it goes in the way you need to. But your broker said, "Nope, I'm closing it out." If you don't understand margin, then combined with lot sizes, combined with the actual pairs and what they mean. Speaking of like US 30 compared to like a basic Forex. It's a lot more expensive to trade US 30. If you don't understand that and you're just jumping in,
Yeah.
I guarantee you're going to lose whatever money you put in there. Guarantee it.
yeah, and that's gonna happen. Like especially with being margin out. Some people are using over leveraging on their account, and especially if you're having like a small balance. So a lot of common sense has to kick in. You're not giving any wiggle room to have proper lot size for you to gain capital. It's like a give and take when it comes to trading. You risk on a small when you're building a small account to get a bigger ROI, right? So when you get that, and then you're having more wiggle room to start building up. So like get through like that stage of building until you have a good balance, and just like not rushing the process. So
Yeah. It's a hard lesson.
yeah, everyone's gonna have to figure it out. That's why when people come in and they want to see how much they could turn, I'm like, look, like you're gonna have your own learning process. Some people are gonna understand it as faster, and they're gonna know that this is a long game, and it's always a pure fact numbers game, and there's going to be people that just feel like they could make it overnight.
Right.
So, and then that's where people set a difference. So, like, if that person's understanding the whole longer game, they're going to be more highly successful than the person that's just thinking that, oh, okay, I saw what this person has accomplished. I'm not going to put in no hard work. You know, I'm just going to find the loopholes and find my success. And we both know when it comes to success, it's always going to be trial and tribulation. So you're always going to be having lessons learned. If you're not learning from your lessons, then you're really not learning. You're not progressing. You're not accomplishing your goals. And you're going to hold yourself accountable. And you're going to be like, all right. And then that comes that brick wall to your face. I don't want to do this no more.
Right.
It didn't work out for me. It's just, you can't say it didn't work out for you. You just didn't put in the work.
Facts. Throw it back a little bit where you said, you know, how you're curious of the people's why when that comes out.
Yeah. So like I get this all the time. When people like for a great example, I had a person that messaged me and randomly just showed me like his balance of how he started with, I think it was like $500. And he was like, yeah, I just keep losing. And I'm like, look, like, well, what are the changes are you doing? Like, what is your why that you're trying to participate in this market? And he was just like, yeah, I just want to have money. And I'm like, well, my response was like, well, good luck, because you are going to have a long, tough time to really get over that hump. Because if your mindset is just focused on just making money, then this is not for you.
Well, it brings up two things for me. One is if someone is in that position, they need to go back and listen to episode number 1.
Yeah.
The perception of trading. Because that's where people, like we were talking about, people see the dollar amount. Oh, I'm attracted to this, but you don't really know what you're getting into. All you see is the dollar amount. The second thing is the fact that our goal isn't like the money portion of it, the monetary portion at the very end, and the result is the reward.
Yeah.
What we should be looking for is catching the pips, because that's how you're going to get better. If you can catch 50 pips a day, you can increase your lot size and make that same 50 that equal $5 one day, equal at 50 the next, equal at 500 the one after that, right? So it shouldn't be a goal of making money. The money comes with it. You should be trying to get the skill to say, hey, I need to catch 50 pips a day. What's the best way I need to catch 50 pips?
Yeah.
You take your lessons, you go through it. Take your lumps and you take your losses and you apply them every single time. And when you do it correctly, you could be able to deposit your account one time and leave it at that. Because if you apply it correctly and you start working hard and paying attention to what's going on, listening to, you know, the recorded videos we have, or just paying attention to just market structure, et cetera, you're going to end up becoming a better trader overall.
That's true.
And you're not driven by money. You're driven by, at that point, you know what? At some point, I mean, even for me, at some point, I want to be able to tell myself, you know what? I'm going to challenge Ken to a pip count per week.
Yeah, I'm going to be like...
Now, you're probably going to blow me out of the water.
Yeah, it's going to be like...
You're probably going to blow me out of the water. But guess what? Bronny James Jr., he wants to play against his dad at some point, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a challenge.
Yeah.
It's a challenge. But that's the whole thing. If I can catch, you know, a couple thousand pips here and there, I've still succeeded regardless, because I can value those pips at a different amount next time.
Yeah.
And that just gives me more confidence. So that drive, that's kind of why I wanted to bring it back, because I think when, like, maybe that person had emailed you and was like, hey, I keep losing, and they're driven by the money. Well, you're driven by the incorrect thing to begin with. You know, so you've already lost right out of the gate.
Yeah.
Go back to square one and decide what you're actually doing here.
And I feel like a lot of people have to be driven by the skill set. Like, cool, the money's there. Like that's awesome, you know. But it's the skill. It's obtaining the skill set of putting it all together. You know, having the freedom, you know, to do what you want, trade where you want, be anywhere in the world when you want, right? That is what everyone is pursuing, not the money income. Like, I could care less about making another 100K over and over again. Like, other people's reactions is like, yeah, excitement, capital gain, but it's very simple. If you've been there before, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and then how to really obtain that, you know, that calmness of presence, right? When everyone is like goals, 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 I'm like, look, there's no goals. It has to happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so when you change your whole perspective on how you view things and what the other person accomplished, you look at it, let it be motivation, but then come back to reality and be like, all right, this is my goals. This is what I have to accomplish first.
Right.
So when you do that, gaining capital on your own account, it's going to be simple.
Absolutely.
And it's a lot. It's just, you know, especially in the Forex niche, everyone is just trying to compete with each other. Like, we're dealing with almost like a $5.3 trillion market.
Right.
So there's no reason for anyone to be competing against each other. Oh, who's the best trader? Who gives out the best calls? Like, no, there's always going to be someone better. There's always going to be someone that is trading millions in 1 year.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So, like, that's why I kind of find it very funny for people that just feel like, oh, this person is this, accomplished this, he made that. You know, at the end of the day, you have to reflect on yourself and what have you accomplished.
Right.
You know, and that's what it comes down to. Like, trading is a very independent thing. It's not like a whole group effort, and where a lot of people just get so complacent about that. So you focus on yourself, you focus on your goals, you focus on your rules, you focus on your confirmations. Everything is you, your count, what you're making. If you're taking someone's call, guess what? You got to hold yourself responsible for taking that call. You can't blame anyone else.
Right.
Like I tell all my students, you have 10 fingers. You press that psh sound on that MT4, that is your responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
I could give out 10 bad calls, but whose fault? You listened, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that responsibility has shifted to you. So
That's why I found it funny in the past. What was it? You had a Telegram chat.
oh yeah, you know,
And
I was when I had the Telegram, I was giving out calls. Like, you know, I wasn't putting my markup analysis. I was just giving out calls left and right.
Right, but
You know?
you literally had one out of like a whole week, one that somebody lost her money on, and she went ham.
Oh yeah,
She went ham
Oh, yeah.
in this Telegram chat, and it was like, yo, the first thing that a lot of us did within that Telegram, we were like, hey, wait. It's your account. It's your money. You decided to do this. You decided to take it. If you don't know why that trade is being executed the way it is, then you might want to go back and take some lessons, but be accountable for yourself,
yeah,
you know? So, and plus it's gratifying as well, the way I see it. Like, if I can sit there and I can look at an analysis and I can say, okay, you know what? I might wait a little bit longer and I'm in less drawdown,
Yeah.
or, you know, end up hitting TP and, you know, I can see that this is a good signal. And then if I'm not taking the signals and I become the independent trader because I've learned so much, then what better feeling of accomplishment than to do that on your own?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't see how anybody can blame anybody else for anything happening, you know, within a signal or the market, because the market's going to do what it's going to do.
Yeah.
You have to understand it as much as possible, but you're never going to know it 100%.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but be comfortable and be confident. And if you don't have that confidence, take some more lessons.
Yeah. So, yeah, I feel like we kind of really covered what capital is. You know, just coming in as a beginner. Don't have your expectations so high. You
Facts.
know, just coming in as a student, apply, you know, what you've learned, because, you know, we all believe that knowledge is power, but I believe that's completely bullshit if it's not applied.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're applying the rules, keep it simple, and then if you're taking losses, cool. It's only a lesson.
Agreed.
So just take the L as, you know, and be excited and change your mood, change your perspective on how you're viewing on trading. Like when I take big L's, I just laugh.
Yeah.
And everyone is like, "Oh my God, I'm in huge drawdown, like this and that," and I have no emotion. Like I can't relate to that anymore.
Right.
Because once you do so, your mindset has elevated.
Agreed. But I agree. I mean, when it comes to capital. I mean, just be responsible. You know,
Yeah, like
Be
this is your
responsible,
like at the end of
understand
the
you're in
day,
your lane.
this is your money. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like you work hard for it. So if you're out there just trading, you know, in Lala's world, then you know you're gonna get Lala's results.
right?
So like, you know, take this as a career.
That
Like,
fairy tale stuff.
yeah,
No, I'm with you. I'm with you. People need to take a long look in the mirror, understand, tell themselves, I really don't understand this.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
yeah,
Everybody starts as a beginner at some point. So don't come in, like you said, expectations being high, set them a little lower and start moving towards growing that expectation. So,
yeah. So I guess that is a wrap on capital. Starting out. So don't feel like you know you need to know everything from the beginning because it's only a long journey ahead.
facts.
So you could only go up.
Yep.
All right, so episode 11. Man,
Episode 11 already.
yeah. So next episode should be really, really interesting. We should probably really talk about on a good topic. Probably get some more feedback on what we should talk about for episode 11.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, let's go from there.
I'm with you.